Beach, Sarasota, Florida. Come on in. You're going to be defending against the Dragon, Ricky Steamboat. What's the cup for?
WrestleMania 3, Pontiac, Michigan. Yeah, 90,000 plus people watching right there. And this is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's cup of coffee in the big time. Yeah, cup of coffee in the big time, because he'll never get closer than now. I am the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, and I will remain the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion. And George the Animal Steel on the outside will be no factor, yeah.
You say no factor. Obviously, he is a factor, or you wouldn't even brought it up.
Oh, wow, Mr. Sarcasm, yeah. I don't care if you got 23 wrestlers around the outside, and it doesn't even matter, no, because I am ready, and I will not let this opportunity slip through my fingers. Cup of coffee, man, yeah. Man. Wow, man.
We had, say what? A whole lot of superstars on this stage here tonight. But I want y'all to know one thing. This is my house. And when I say who's house,
word attack skills and vocabulary too. Cover hits in the distant edition, it's all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
So you probably thought we wasn't going to do a show this week, and there was a chance we wasn't. A lot of things happened. Family issues happened. Personal issues happened. And we thought maybe we would take a week off of Ring Time Pro Wrestling. But it's Sunday in the middle of the day. I've got a little gap of time, and there was a lot of stuff that happened in wrestling this week. So to not leave y'all hanging dry, to give y'all some thoughts and opinions, we are here for a solo Ring Time Pro Wrestling with Keith. Generally, when a Sunday show happens, you know I'm probably hanging by myself. I could have called a few people, but I was lazy, waited too late, didn't check any schedules, didn't send out any emails or tweets. So I figured I'd just jump on to record. This show gonna be all over the place. I'm gonna talk about a lot of things, but I think it'll be well worth your time. So we can sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's Ring Time Pro Wrestling. We're going to start our week out with Roadblock, which happened Saturday. Over a week ago. It was not a pay-per-view. It was a live event that WWE decided to broadcast and get some money off of. Why do I say get some money off of? Get more viewers and get more eyes to the network. That's a better statement, because they didn't sell a pay-per-view. They don't do that anymore. So they got more eyes to the network. And I thought it was a good show. I thought it was a good incentive for people who have the network and don't watch it as often to tune in on a Saturday evening, which is a time they generally wouldn't watch the WWE or wouldn't even watch wrestling, as a matter of fact. But we'll go down the line. Show opens up with a match with the New Day. They've started off their feud with the League of Nations, and I think it's safe to say that the New Day are baby faces now. I think the turn is official because they are in a full-on with the League of Nations, and nobody likes the League of Nations, and people like the New Day without them even being baby faces, but I think this just kind of cements it. It was good offense by Kofi Kingston throughout the match. I think Kofi has really been shining lately for the New Day. I think they've really got a lot out of him. The general match was Kofi and Big E taking on Wade Barrett and Sheamus, with Rusev and Del Rio hanging out outside. It's kind of funny to see the New Day at a numbers disadvantage. And it also adds to the babyface feel of it, because it's like, okay, how are they going to overcome this obstacle? Which we haven't had to see them overcome an obstacle, because it's always been the three of them versus two people. But either way, it worked out. New Day retains the titles. Chris Jericho took on Jack Swagger in a throw-in match. Basically, they had to fill time, because they only had like 4 matches scheduled for the whole thing, right? And of course, Chris Jericho's going to beat Jack Swagger. The main thing is to project Jericho for his feud with AJ Styles. And, I mean, Jack Swagger ain't out here about to win nothing. The Revival, which that is Dash and Dawson. Apparently they have a name now, and that's good. Revival is a very good name for them because they are reviving the old tag team spirit. Man, when I see them, I see Arn and Tully. A lot of people say they remind them of Arn and Ole. I'm more of an Arn and Tully guy with these guys. About the same sizes, got a little bit of the same dimension. They don't have Tully's spirit. They don't have Tully is. They don't have a mouthpiece like Tully. So that's maybe why people more compare him to Arn and Ole. Great tag team wrestling. These guys are dedicated to being a team, and you can't discount that. Like, I love tag teams that are dedicated to being a team. They are out there to do tag team moves. They took on Enzo and Cash, I think another team that is dedicated to being a team. And I thought this was Enzo and Cash's time to break through. I was wrong. Revival find a way to gut it out. They always find a way through, even with insurmountable odds. Because when you think about Enzo and Cash, you got to think like with that big 7-footer, they've got to have the advantage, and they've got to be able to take out these little guys. And it just, even if you isolate Enzo, who's not no chump himself, you still got this big monster in the back. But they figured out a way. They know how to cut off the ring. Like I said, good tag team psychology and good tag team wrestling. And you buy it. I also like this show because it mixed some NXT talent with some main roster talent to put on a show. And I think it also highlights how much the fans enjoy both brands, right? Charlotte defeated Nattie. Of course, Charlotte cheats. They were wrestling for that Divas title. And, Nattie and Charlotte probably are credited. Well, it depends on who you talk to of where the original Divas Revolution started. But I think Nattie and Charlotte's match at NXT a while back really put eyes on the idea of that, hey, we could do something special with this division and these ladies. So that happened. Brock Lesnar defeated Luke Harper in what I call the old switcheroo. It was supposed to be Brock versus Bray. Or earlier it was Brock versus Luke. Then it was a 2-on-1 handicap match, which never became the 2-on-1 handicap match because Bray Wyatt never got involved. And I'm not sure where this is going. And it really just turned out to be a situation where Brock beat up on Luke Harper. And I don't think we got much out of it. I mean, we didn't even get really any interaction with Bray. Sami Zayn defeated Stardust, which is more of us seeing Sami Zayn get... Sami Zayn's transition to the main roster is just going to be, hey, you see him every week. It's not a big announcement. You just see him all the time, right? Eventually, we'll get that Owens match and we'll be rocking and rolling. The main event was Triple H and Dean Ambrose. I liked the match. I thought that Triple H did a wonderful job. Like, I went into this match thinking Dean was going to win and was going to set us up for Mania, and we didn't get that. Dean lost, but he came very close to winning. And it showed one thing. The fans like an organic push. They like the heel who's hard to beat. And that babyface they want, underdog babyface they want to get behind. I'm not saying Dean should replace Roman in the main event. I'm saying, because I don't know if Dean's necessarily the guy either. What I'm saying is, I think Triple H may need to hold on to the belt a little while longer. And that's something I didn't know I was going to say going into this match. But after watching, I was like, wow. Like, you almost forget how good he was or is. I mean, I know watching him every week and him talking on the mic, you get a good general idea. Like, wow, man, this guy is good. But I think that pay-per-view, that show, and it's nice that he got to get a good tune-up to that level of a match with that high profile of a match prior to WrestleMania, since he hasn't really been in the ring like that for a year. So, yeah, I thought it worked out really good for everybody involved. It was a solid show. I'd give it a B-. I think it was worth your time if you were sitting at home on a Saturday. And it wasn't that long of a show, so if you want to go back on the WWE Network and check it out, I think it's worth checking out. With that, we're going to roll into our usual segments. We're going to break the show probably in 3 parts today, and that was the first part. After this, we'll talk birthdays and news. We'll recap Raw and do a little NXT recap. Which, you know what, let's do the NXT recap now. That'll kill us some time. And then what we'll do is we'll roll into the birthdays and news on the other side of our break. And then Raw. And then like the special part of the show. That's something I just added because it's March. It's the first weekend of March Madness. Your brackets are busted up. They toe up altogether. I know because mine are. And unless you really just love there's no way you could have picked most of this, right? Man, my first day I was 13 for 16 of the first 16 games. My second day, I probably was like 5 or 13. Like, it was terrible. And 10 double-digit seeds advanced to the second round. Never heard of before. Crazy tournament. Michigan State, you people suck. No wonder I don't like green and white. There is a reason why you don't send a Spartan to do a Wolverine's job. I was just frustrated. Okay. Aside from that, let's talk NXT. Very good show Wednesday. They hit a lot of points. I thought they had a nice interview with Austin Aries. The big announcement that comes out of NXT is one that I am ecstatic about. Is it bad that I'm more excited for NXT Dallas than WrestleMania? Is it? Because I don't. First of all, just to let you know, Ring Time Pro Wrestling is doing a completely separate NXT Dallas preview that has nothing to do with our WrestleMania preview show. We are recording 2 separate shows because I think both events deserve the same level of respect. Right? And there's a lot going to go on at this Dallas show. I think we're going to learn a lot. But we learned about 2 major matches going down in Dallas. Right? And the first one. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. So I'm going to preview it here. Shinsuke Nakamura and Sami Zayn. Let's play the clip.
Deserve to face one of the best in the world. On April the 1st at NXT TakeOver Dallas, exclusively on the WWE Network. Your opponent will be NXT's newest signee, this man.
So the King of Strong Style is going to make his debut at NXT Dallas. We knew that. But, man, against Sami Zayn, this will probably be Sami Zayn's last NXT match, just to be his send-off, since he's not going to be in the world title match. Expect Finn Balor probably and Samoa Joe for the world title. And then, the second match. I got to let the clip go for that one.
On April the 1st at NXT TakeOver Dallas, the new #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship will be Asuka.
Yes, Asuka and Bayley, which is probably Bayley's last match in NXT. I think Bayley's got to go to the main roster now. I think she'll fill out that Divas division very finally. It is Asuka's time. Asuka's gonna kill you. No, I don't think she's really gonna kill her. The match that her and Bayley had, the tag team against Nia Jax and our girl Eva Marie, wasn't bad. Eva Marie is going to be Bella 2.0. I think, but I think she's going to be better. She's going to come to the main roster knowing how to wrestle. As much people hate her, as much people talk bad about her, she's getting better and better every week. I think she's really understanding what's going down in NXT. She's working with Brian Kendrick and then get with the tutelage of Sarah Del Rey. I don't think that she's dedicated to fitness and working on her body. I think she'll make all the right moves, and I think she'll be ready. I mean, it's not her fault that a lot of things she's done prior to this has not had anything to do with wrestling. I don't say it's not her fault, but I'm going to say The company made those decisions. They saw her and was like, yo, let's put her in these catalogs. Let's put her in this. Let's put her in that. We'll worry about the wrestling later. Now we're working on the wrestling. And they did that with the Bellas. And I think the Bellas turned an interesting corner. I think Brie developed her style, which is kind of split off from... It's kind of funny. I think they've kind of emulated styles of their boyfriends, right? I think Brie, or husbands, whatever. Brie decided she was going to do a little more high flying. She was going to do a little bit of more, she's not as technical, but she, definitely, she worked with the kicks and that kind of thing. Nikki's not as technical either, but she worked on the power game. She's the powerhouse, a la John Cena. So you can see it in her work, and I think she has probably had the greatest strides, and I can't wait to see her come back from her neck injury. And I think by the time she comes back and Eva Marie comes to the roster, we got some interesting stories. I don't know if they go work together with Brie being out the game now, or I don't know if that becomes her main rival and they play this beauty dethroning the beauty kind of thing as who's the supreme red carpet diva of the crew, and you got action. I liked the big match with the Vaudevillians and American Alpha. Man, those guys are so good. Woo, they so good. Jordan and Gable are the future of that tag team division. And the suplex that Gable did, you gotta watch it. If you haven't watched it, you gotta go back and watch it. A lot of comparisons to Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, especially with Jordan. Jordan definitely reminds me a lot of Shelton Benjamin. I don't know if it's that amateur wrestling background that does it for me, but these kids are talented. I think they got the moves. I would love maybe the WWE for like a one night only bring back Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas to wrestle these guys. You got to take care of these tag teams. So it's going to be good. I really enjoyed this show of NXT. I always enjoy NXT. I think it's the perfect show. It's stripped down. It's 1 hour. It's mostly about the in-ring product, and they really put on a good show. Like I said, NXT Dallas, way excited for it. But with that's done. So now I've covered NXT, and we're ready for the first break of the show, and then we'll come back, and we'll take care of everything else that we got to do today. See you on the other side.
Challenge, and why wouldn't we? Because just because you guys dropped us after our match on Raw doesn't change the fact that the League of Nations are 4 bags of hot garbage. Exhibit A, Rusev. Machka, Machka, Machka. Your booty. Or Exhibit B, King Barrett. I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Your booty. Or Exhibit C, Alberto Del Rio. Alberto, pero lo siento, lo siento, lo siento. Pero tú es booty. And then we've got the leader, Sheamus. Fella, 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 broke, fella, 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 hey, fella, 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 yo, fella, fella, broke, yo.
Wide
you can't even go out. Take it. Boop. That works too.
All right, here we go. We are back in this our wonderful birthday segment, which we'll keep it short and sweet. Yesterday would have been the 19th of March, which meant Matt Sydal, a.k.a. Evan Bourne, will have celebrated his 33rd birthday. Retired diva A.J. Lee celebrated being 29. Today, March 20th, Homicide celebrates his 39th birthday. And on March 20th, the biggest birthday of them all, the man they call Sting. Sting celebrates his birthday. Sting turns 57. And tomorrow would have been the 21st of Monday. And the late, great Chris Candido would have been celebrating his 44th birthday. With that, we are done with birthdays and on to the news. This is probably the heaviest segment of the week. And probably the heaviest business news has happened. Ken Anderson of TNA Wrestling is fired. Apparently, he showed up to work under the influence, and apparently even tried to work a match under the influence, what they're saying, as noted on various wrestling sites. Wrestlers on Radio and Pro Wrestler Editor-in-Chief Ryan Satin reported that he was released from the company after he failed a drug test, and he appeared to be under the influence during the match. He was working a match with Eric Young and was forced to take a drug test before being sent home. And it was scheduled to air on the January 19th episode of Impact, but it had to be removed from the show. Nobody's really commenting right now, but that is a dig blow for TNA and Mr. Anderson. He was a guy who, I don't know, we thought he was on the rise in WWE, then he kind of stalled out. Then he ended up going to TNA, and he's been with TNA probably for the last 6 years or so, and it just never really turned around at TNA. Like, he took off for a little bit, got a world title, and then never really worked out after that. TNA does struggle with former WWE wrestlers after they win the world title, apparently. But, you know, neither here nor there. Hope can, if he needs some help, get some help and bounces back and ends up on his feet. Also, the shocking news of the week went down yesterday. Apparently, TNA has granted the releases of Bobby Roode and Eric Young. Now, the way it's worded, because when I read it at first, I thought they just released them. Like, what they cut? They just let Bobby Roode and Eric Young go away. But apparently, the way it's been, these guys asked for their release and they've been granted. Both of them are 12-year veterans. Both of them have been around the company since 2004. Almost near the very beginning of the company when they was just working out of Nashville. Both two probably the greatest TNA wrestlers, purebred TNA guys of all time. They come out with Canadian roots. There's nothing you can really say bad about any of them. Both former world champions. Pretty much Grand Slam champions. I think both have held every title you can hold in TNA. We had high hopes with Bobby Roode and Storm being back at Beer Money. I just don't know what was the impetus of them leaving. I think Roode has a lot of opportunity, and I mean, NXT would seem like the perfect landing spot for Bobby Roode right now. Eric Young, not so much. I can see Eric Young on a good indie run. Maybe going to NXT or maybe going to Japan, but I can see more of him on an indie run. Doing some shots in ROH and seeing what happens there. But definitely Bobby Roode is, I see NXT all over him. And, man, see a match with him and like the likes of Samoa Joe would probably be very interested over in NXT right now. But we'll see how it all works out. Also, the WWE has reported interest in New Japan star Okada, the Rainmaker, current champ. They have interest, and I mean, I think they're really trying to expand this Japanese product. You see more of Hideo Itami a lot more, even, you know, since he's been recovering from injury, but you see him a lot more now. Asuka's prominently featured. And I mean, NXT Dallas is about, you know, Nakamura debuting and Asuka challenging for the women's title. So I think they're trying to make major inroads in that Japanese market. Now I think with Okada, his price point is woo. I think it's in the realm of like 1.7 million a year. I don't think they're ready to pony that up. So I don't think he's leaving New Japan anytime soon. Like, the lure of America ain't what it used to be. And he's a star in America anyway now, thanks to the internet, thanks to the partnerships with ROH and stuff like that. I think he's going to stick with being a millionaire over in Japan. So we probably don't have to worry about that too much. One of the biggest notes from this week is Hulk Hogan winning his lawsuit against Gawker. A lot of you may not know or may have known, we discussed it a little bit last week on the last show. Hulk Hogan was tied up in a lawsuit with the online site Gawker. Gawker is responsible for releasing clips of a sex tape that involved Hulk Hogan and the wife of former friend Bubba the Love Sponge. Apparently, that tape got out, and then some of the things they didn't release in the original, they released later, which confirmed some of the racist things that Hulk Hogan said on the tape, which led to the downfall of his career and his current comeback push. and pretty much fans respect him at all. But I will say it was an invasion of privacy. That video never should have got out. He never expected that video to get out. And when people invade your privacy, it's not fair, the things that come out and how we judge, because there's things we've said and done that probably wouldn't want out on tape that it was said behind closed doors, right? Especially in heated moments where you probably weren't using your best judgment. That situation doesn't seem like a moment where Hulk was using his best judgment to begin with. But I'm not making excuses for him. A year is giving me some perspective on it and some time to kind of be like, okay. You know what I mean? Where, like, if you know anything about me, or if you read the articles I've written on it early on when it first happened, they came from an emotional hurt place. And I mean, I think I have much knowledge in the articles, but and apparently they were the most popular articles I had ever written on ringtimeprowrestling.com. But I'll say, you know, time changes, and I think people do have a shot at changing. So, but anyway, he wins the lawsuit for $115 million. Really, what's important about this lawsuit is this. Aside from being Hulk Hogan or whatever, it now puts these online outlets and media outlets as a whole. This is New York Times. This is all your mainstream media. Is a person's right to privacy versus the the First Amendment. And right to privacy won. That's what happened. Right to privacy beat First Amendment. And the argument was that Hogan was a public figure who talked about his sex life, where it was all fair game. No, apparently the judge said right to privacy won. You did not have the right to take this man's image and name and take it through whatever you took it through. So, right to privacy won in that case. So, at the end of the day, Hogan will celebrate. I'm not sure how much of that $115 million he gonna see. He also is gonna be awarded extra money for more punitive damages. That probably has to do with them leaking the. Gawker probably never took responsibility for leaking the comments about the race and stuff like that. But somebody who had to do with the case and watch the whole video had to be able to get that audio and release it about him and the racism and that this, that, the third, which has kept him off WWE television and out of a lot of things WWE for a long time. So with that, good job, Hulk, I guess. The WWE is discussing Snoop Dogg possibly entering the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame this year, 2016. The Hall of Fame has people such as Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose is in the celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. Donald Trump is a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame. Snoop Dogg has been an avid wrestling fan. He's been a part of WWE programming. There's been a lot of live events, and you've seen him on Raws and pay-per-views, and I think he's even took part in WrestleMania. So it would be a stretch. The idea would he be inducted by Sasha Banks, who was his first cousin, which would be awesome. You know, here at Ring Time Pro Wrestling, we love all things Sasha Banks. So, I think that's a win-win for everybody. But keep posted, and we'll see what happens. Sting officially retires. So we had a lot of speculation about him being his last match when he lost to Seth Rollins and him getting hurt during that match. Well, Sting made it official. He is retired. He is done with the ring. Nobody can blame him, and he's a warrior. Wrestling up to age 56 anyway is crazy. So, good for Sting. Hopefully, the damage wasn't too bad. He can still live normally and enjoy his life. And with that, we are done with the news. And now it is on to Raw. So Monday night, what did we do Monday? We found out New Day defeats the League of Nations. League of Nations attacks New Day after the match, which, if you wasn't ready for New Day to be faced, they're faces now, because they left being bloodied in the ring by a vicious savage attack for no reason. Even though, hey, same thing happened. They challenged New Day for the belts. Xavier Woods got to wrestle because League of Nations challenged that Xavier Woods doesn't wrestle. He's just a cheerleader. Xavier got in there, did his thing. Saw a lot of good moves from him. The numbers game didn't work. They worked in the match. The League of Nations could take advantage of it, but they took advantage of it after the match. So, the League of Nations finally getting heat too. People actually care what they do. Because I think when they was fighting Roman Reigns, they really didn't get heat. It was just we know they're supposed to be the bad guys. They getting heat here. People don't like you messing with their New Day. So that's happening. Dean Ambrose and Brock Lesnar pick it off where they left off. Brock approached the ring where Dean was talking, but Dean happened to have a crowbar. Apparently decided was to come in a no-holds-barred match where, hey, you can't out-wrestle, baby. You can beat it with a stick. But aside from that, so we're not going to move forward with Dean and the world title or anything like that interested. And we're not going to move forward with Brock and Bray Wyatt. Apparently everything that had built up Saturday was just a build-up Saturday. And we are back to normal. Ryback defeated Sin Cara in an uneventful match. Triple H tells the world why he's going to beat Roman Reigns. And Dolph Ziggler showed up. And, maybe they searching for that underdog heel. And maybe Dolph is a start. Not underdog heel, but underdog babyface. But he got some match with Triple H. That holds it on that night. But it was really just a setup for him to get beat up. And Roman Reigns to come back. Roman led a nice vicious attack on the COO. And I think it was good payback. They took it all the way back to the locker room. To the point where Roman had to be calmed down by the Usos and Mark Henry before he killed Triple H. And I'll say this. I think we got action. I don't know if people are going to buy into it or love it, but we got action. Other than that, Undertaker comes out and talks to Vince and Shane about WrestleMania. I still don't know how this is going to work out. I still don't know how the triangle is going to exist. I don't know. Everybody's going to screw the Undertaker. It's not going to be a screw job on Taker, so I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Speaking of which, have y'all seen the workout video for Taker? Where he out here deadlifting 500 pounds at age 50? Man, you don't want no parts of that old man strength. You don't want no parts of it, people. None whatsoever. But, yeah, man, that's all I have for Raw. It goes a lot quicker when I'm not bouncing opinions off another person. It got us back in the mood for WrestleMania. But, like, all it did was make Saturday night even happen. Like, it was no big deal. We moved on. Everybody back to what they're going to do. So we wasn't going to shake up the world like we thought we were going to do with Roadblock. We just kind of had a show. But neither here nor there. We'll be back with the last segment of the show. I hope you're enjoying it so far. I am Keith, one half of the dynamic duo that is Ring Time Pro Wrestling. And that is it. Peace.
Held up for the time being, but certainly things may be ironed out when WrestleMania 4 happens in Atlantic City at the Trump Plaza on Sunday afternoon, March 27th with a 4 p.m. start. There will be an elimination tournament for the World Wrestling Federation's heavyweight title. Quite obviously, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, receiving buys, and justifiably so, in the first round. However, other top contenders will meet in various brackets in that first round, including this man, by virtue of all that he's done to the World Wrestling Federation over the past 3 years. Macho Man Randy Savage, you're going to be part of this big tournament, and your opponent in the first round is going to be none other than the Natural Butch Reed. First of all, what do you make of all that's happened over the past week, 10 days?
I'm going to answer your second question first.
I like that.
There. Yeah, WrestleMania 4 with all the focus and attention going right there to that one place and time. Yeah, I'm talking to you, Natural Butch Reed. Right now, looking into the video scope, I got respect for you as an athlete, super athlete, but you don't have the only key to the gym. Yeah, there's other people that have paid their dues, and that focus of attention at WrestleMania 4 is gonna be spectacular, a spectacle, yeah. But yeah, go ahead, right?
You know,
now,
Macho Man Randy Savage, it's no secret, in late 1987, you were proclaimed to be one half of the Mega Powers along with Hulk Hogan. What do you make of what has happened to Hulk Hogan and the World Heavyweight Championship?
That question right there is too hot to handle right now. Yeah, I'm thinking I hear voices, but my eyes don't lie. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about, Ted DiBiase. Yeah, this'll carry you a little ways, but it won't take you all the way. Yeah, you're going to be taught that sometime in your life. And I think WrestleMania 4 can be the place. Yeah, but Butch Natural Reed, I'm talking the guy with the big guns. Yeah, that's the guy I'm concentrating on. Yeah, WrestleMania 4, I'll be there and ready. Yeah.
All right, he is one of the...
So, last segment here. Like I said, it's March Madness. March Madness is usually associated with college basketball's wonderful tournament where the one and done style inspires many to watch, and everybody fills out their brackets for the drama of 64 teams, all wanting to shot at that coveted national title and making it to the Final Four. To be honest with you, making it to the Final Four seems more coveted to actually win a national championship. People tend to remember who made it to the Final Four and how many Final Fours coaches have, but they don't already remember how many titles they have. But that's neither here nor there. I came to talk about the greatest tournament of all time in wrestling. That's right. It took place March 27th, 1988, is WrestleMania 4. It took place in Atlantic City. People used to call it Trump Plaza, but it actually wasn't exactly at Trump Plaza. It was at the historic Atlantic City Convention Center. But Trump Plaza, those people helped put the whole event together. It was the first time, it was the first of two WrestleManias that happened there, because WrestleMania 5 also happened at the illustrious Trump's place. But Donald Trump was involved in pro wrestling for the first time. And who knew that 28 years later he'd be threatening to ruin the whole country. But that's neither here nor there. But this was his first involvement in WrestleMania. What we had was a 14-man tournament to determine who was going to be the world champion. Also, that event had the WrestleMania debut of the Ultimate Warrior, who took on Hercules and beat Hercules. There was a tag team title match that night with the Demolition, and they took on Strike Force, and of course they brutalized Strike Force. There was a 20-man battle royal that was won by Bad News Brown, who quite possibly has one of the most racist gimmicks in wrestling ever. Well, maybe the most racist gimmick. His finishing move was called the Ghetto Blaster. Soak that in. The Ghetto Blaster. Alright. But anyway, it is Bad News Brown. He wore like a biker glove, black trunks, and you know that dude was like a world-class judo guy though? Like for real, like he was a world-class martial arts guy, and they just reduced him to like whatever. But that's neither here nor there. So, how did we get to this tournament in 1988? Pretty simple. Well, it's not that simple. Back in 1987, there was WrestleMania 3. Hulk Hogan defended the title against Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant had turned heel, was working with Bobby Heenan, of course. Hogan defeated Andre in a match that some deemed slightly controversial. But, hey, at the end of the day, Hogan won. He got that pin. That's in the story. Hogan and Andre continued on to feud. 1987, Hogan led a team into Survivor Series that lost to Andre's team. And Andre was the sole survivor at that Survivor Series in 1987. You'll remember he had a team of one-man gang. King Kong Bundy, Butch Reed, and Rick Rude, I want to say. Hogan's team consists of Don Morocco, Paul Orndorff, King Kong Bundy, and somebody else. End of the day, it all came down to Bam Bam. Hogan got disqualified. Everybody else got beat up. And it came down to Bam Bam, who may have quite had one of the greatest coming out parties in a Survivor Series. Because Bam Bam Bigelow was faced against, there was a lot of meat left in the ring. He had the one-man gang, King Kong Bundy, and Andre the Giant. And he gutted out two amazing pinfalls against King Kong Bundy and the one-man gang. But he could not take down Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant was the sole survivor, which he had guaranteed the night earlier that night. But move forward. At that next Royal Rumble in 1988, well, actually it was the first Royal Rumble, they had the contract signing for the world title match, which would take place at that first Saturday night's main event of that year in 1988. It was Hogan versus Andre. Andre had a new friend, Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man, who was hanging around Andre and Bobby Heenan. Well, what ended up happening is there was some shenanigans with the referee, and it was a fast count. Some things happened, and Hogan lost the world title to Andre on that Saturday night's main event. 47 seconds after winning the title, Andre the Giant surrendered the title to Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. He had sold the belt. What we end up happening to find out is that it was a mix-up with the referees. The Hebner brothers were involved, David and Earl. Now, this story is probably one of the weirdest stories in wrestling, because if you remember from 1988, there was a legend that I think, because they was twins, but I don't even know if they were really twins, but I know they were brothers for real, and maybe one had went and got some plastic surgery paid for by the $1 Million Man to help more look like the other brother so they could pull off this elaborate ruse, and it kind of all fell apart at the end of the match. So President Jack Tunney had no other option but to suspend the world title and vacate the world title and put it up for grabs in the tournament at WrestleMania. The tournament consists of 14 people. The first round was the preliminary round. Hogan and Andre got a bye to the quarterfinal, right? Where the other guys fought on. So they had to win 3. The other guys had to win 4 to get there. Now, this gets kind of screwy too, because it's kind of like they got a bye, but then they face each other in the quarterfinal round. Like, if you give the 1 seed, the 2 seed a bye, they had to, because they were both former world champs and they were both the last guys who had the belt, then they should be at the top and the bottom of the bracket. Nope, WWF would get that out of the way quick. They go face each other in the quarterfinal match. Well, in the quarterfinals, that got screwy, and they started hitting each other with chairs, and both got double disqualified, which created a bye for the guy they were supposed to face next, which was coincidentally Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. But what we really learned in that tournament, it was a coming out party for Macho Man Randy Savage. Savage had to win 4 matches to get to the main event of this wonderful, wonderful tournament. So, Savage's route, his first round, he had to take on the natural Butch Reed with Slick in his corner, and he was able to dispose of Slick. In the second round, he took on Greg the Hammer Valentine, who got by Ricky Steamboat in the first round, which is crazy, because you would have thought that, hey, maybe Steamboat, would have made it to that second round and faced Savage, right? Nah, not so much. And I mean, that would have been a good, interesting rematch of WrestleMania 3. But no, Savage had to get to the second round and face Greg Valentine. Now, the tournament was very interesting. The first round had matches like between Jake Roberts and Rick Rude, who had a long-standing feud. They had a time limit draw, which at a pay-per-view, very underused rule and technique in wrestling anymore. Time limit draw. Nobody has them anymore. Which gave the one-man gang a bye. He had beat Bam Bam Bigelow to get that bye. He beat Bam Bam Bigelow on a count out. That was crazy. So Savage faces Valentine. He beats Valentine. Then he gets one-man gang, who ends up getting disqualified, which gets Savage to the finals. Who does he face in the finals? Ted DiBiase, who really only won 2 matches. He beat Jim Duggan in the first round. He beat Don Morocco in the second round. And then he didn't have to face anybody in the semifinals because Hogan and Andre got disqualified. Now, we get to the finals. Savage takes out DiBiase for the world title. DiBiase has Andre the Giant in his corner with Bobby Heenan and Virgil. That's a stacked deck. Savage has Miss Elizabeth. And then, who decides to get involved? Hulk Hogan shows up. Hey, man, that's the beginning of the Mega Powers. And also the end of the Mega Powers. Well, not the end, but we start to see that there's going to be some shakes in this fabric early. But the crazy thing about this tournament, it seemed like it lasted the whole day. If you look at these matches, man, they knocked this out quick. The championship match was the longest match of the tournament. 9 minutes and 27 seconds. Crazy. Savage got disqualified against the one-man gang. It was a 4-minute match. Hogan and Andre, they DQ lasted 5 minutes. DiBiase beat Morocco in 5 minutes. Savage beat Greg Valentine in 6 minutes. Savage logged the longest time in everybody. The second longest time of the match was the first round with Steamboat and Valentine, which lasted 9 minutes 11 seconds. Where Valentine pinned Steamboat. Only in the WWE in a tournament when you're trying to get a guy over, with Valentine Penn Steamboat. Just saying. Now, no wonder Steamboat left shortly after with WCW. In 1999, held one of the greatest trilogy of matches with Ric Flair of all time for the world title. But that's off subject. For a 9-year-old Keith, this was an incredible thing to watch, right? Best tournament they ever did. The WWE has yet failed to come back. King of the Ring has been solid, but not like this. Also, I think the appeal of trying to get television ratings, they would screw this up by having the first 2 rounds on Raw. They did waiting for the pay-per-view when they could have used 3 or 4 hours of the pay-per-view to have the whole tournament. But, that's neither here nor there. But I thought it was a good look back at history. I thought it was the great ascension of the Macho Man. I've never seen something built so long over such an arc. And even from here, when they won, and he won that belt, WrestleMania 5 was already decided. Right? Like, we knew where we were going to WrestleMania 5. And just to book it that far out and figure it all out is amazing. It is amazing because I don't think we could book that far out now. Like, I think everybody has the microwave booking is like 2 to 3 weeks. Let's get through the feud and then let's drag the next one. We don't have year-long feuds. We don't have things that develop and spark and then turn. Because this Andre Hogan thing is a better part of 2 years, man. This is everything that happens before WrestleMania 3, and then it goes on, and it stays going. Now, other proxy servers get in and other people get involved, but that's a better part of 2. I mean, a good chunk of 2 years. But that was just a little memory I wanted to share. Something I thought was interesting. Something I thought related to the month of March, the tournament, and it happened in March. It'll probably never be duplicated. And also it had to do with the rise of Randy Savage. I think this has officially cemented him as a main eventer. Not just main event on house shows and the beach towns and da-da-da. This is like, hey, this dude has came to play. And it was an incredible turn in his character, and I think nobody was more deserving. For him to get to the next level and to be probably the number 2 guy of the 1980s, arguably in the WWE. But with that, I'm going to close up this show. I hope you guys enjoyed me on and on rambling about this week in wrestling. And hopefully we will be back Wednesday or Thursday with Keisha. And as we prep for this road to WrestleMania. The New Japan report will be out sometime soon. I just haven't really done it. I know the New Japan Cup has went down, and a lot has went down since the last time we did New Japan report. I mean, hell, almost all the talent done. Not all the talent, but like 5 major names are gone. AJ Styles is gone. The Bullet Club is barely intact. I mean, Carl and Doc, they gone now. Nakamura is gone now. Ibushi is gone now. I mean, it's so we'll talk about it, right? And we'll talk about the future. We'll talk about why it's still bright, how much talent is over there, and who from America can go over there and probably make a run and have a good time. And with that, we'll also go talk some Lucha Underground probably in the next episode or 2. Try to get caught up on there. I think the first Rey Mysterio matches from Lucha Underground are due to air sometime in the next week or so. So with that, we go have to, get up on our wrestling game. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the other end. Peace.
Fuck a shooter, I'm my own shooter. All this ice, I'm my own jeweler. 6 lawyers and they all jeweler. I'm the star, bitch, it's my move. Pinky ring, 250 on it. Guess it's safe to say, nigga, I spent your budget on it. Ran off on the floor twice. He started calling, I ain't calling back. He said he dissed me on his last album. Guess nobody heard, cause nobody bought